What is going on, guys? This is 42 Sports here, and today I am talking about, will the Michigan Wolverines upset the number 2 ranked team nationally, Penn State Nittany Lions? We are Penn State, or go blue. Man, will this be a good game on Saturday, 7:30 p.m. October 21st, 2017. Coverage will be on ABC. It is at the Beaver Stadium in Penn State. Man, Penn State is 6-0 and 3-0 the conference, while the struggling offense of Michigan Wolverines is surprisingly 5-1 and 2-1 in the conference. As you all know, that the Michigan Wolverines lost to their in-state rival Michigan State 14-10. It was a horrible game to watch, especially because it was in the rain. Penn State barely survived against Iowa, who usually is a college football playoff contending hopes team killer, as you saw last year when they beat Michigan and then Michigan lost to Ohio State. But Penn State with McSorley and we have Barkley, those two guys, Trevor McSorley, I believe, Tracy McSorley and Saquon Barkley are the two best player duos in the Big Ten. When we have Michigan, who is still trying to find their starting quarterback between O'Korn and Spite, even though they both been struggling with the offense. Penn State has an 84.4% chance or 87.4% chance of beating Michigan, while Michigan has a 12.6%. But this little rivalry, I guess it's called a rivalry, Michigan will always come up with a fight against Penn State. And man, last year was a horrible year to watch, or a horrible game to watch against the Michigan and the Penn State game, when Michigan just dismantled the Nittany Lions. It was 49-10, and it was atrocious. Now this year, I don't know. I don't really think that Michigan will win this game, because Penn State has more players from last year's team, especially the quarterback and the running back. Of course, Michigan does have their quarterback Wilton Spite from last year, and O'Korn. Ty Isaac's also a good running back, but I still feel like Penn State is more experienced and more players that have been on the same team as last year and this year. Michigan is really young and inexperienced, but surprisingly, they are 5-1 and 2-1 in the conference, so they're good. So don't underestimate the Michigan Wolverines. But I myself will choose the Penn State Nittany Lions to win against the Michigan Wolverines. I think Michigan will lose, 3 or 4 games this year due to the fact that they're a young and inexperienced team, and they still have a slow offense, and they struggle for the past few games. I don't think Jim Harbaugh is an overrated college football coach. It's just because the past few years he has brought this program back from the dark days at Michigan. So I don't think they're ready yet to be a college football playoff team. But Penn State could possibly be a college football playoff type team. Now, they won the Big Ten last year. They beat Wisconsin, who also could be a sleeper team as well. All right, so let's go through the season leaders for this year's passing, rushing, receiving, also points per game, points per allowed, and team stats, and then the last 5 games as well. I like to do this because I love reading stats as well. This is what I love to do as my job for YouTube. Alright, so for Michigan, we have quarterback Wilton Spite. Overall, I don't know if he will start over O'Korn, but he is a season leader for Michigan so far with 44 completions to 81 attempts with 581 yards, 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That is kind of bad, while Tracy McSorley has 130 completions to 194 attempts with 1,597 yards with 13 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. As we all know, the passing leader winner is Tracy McSorley. Now, for rushing, sorry, I don't know why something got in my lungs. Saquon Barkley is better than Ty Isaac, but they're both good running backs. Ty Isaac has 68 carries overall with 403 yards, 1 touchdown, while Heisman hopeful Saquon Barkley has 102 carries, 649 rushing yards with 6 touchdowns. Now, we all know who's the rushing leader for this one is Saquon Barkley, so that's 2-0 against the season leaders in this one. For receiving yards and season leaders, we have Grant Perry from Michigan, 18 receptions, 224 yards, 1 touchdown, and Saquon Barkley leads the receiving yards for season leader. He has 29 receptions, 395 reception yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's crazy. Now, not many running backs can catch the ball and play well, but they mostly are mainly running. But Saquon Barkley can do it all, and I think that's why Michigan will probably most likely have a problem with Saquon Barkley or Tracy McSorley. But as we all know, that the Iowa Hawkeyes almost beat them by 2 points at Iowa. Even though it's going to be a home field advantage for Penn State, but don't underestimate the Michigan Wolverines because they will come out with a fight and they could possibly upset the Nittany Lions, and they're hopeful to be in the College Football playoffs. Alright, so stats. We're going to compare the stats to each other and see who wins out of this one. So Penn State right now is 3-0 in the season leaders. Points per game. Michigan has a 27.2 points per game, while the Nittany Lions has 39.7, and Penn State wins the points per game. Points allowed. This will be huge. This will be critical. The defense for Michigan has a 14.7 points per allowed, and a crazy stat by Penn State, who only has 9.0 yards allowed. So they win by that, but it's going to be a defensive battle, and it's going to be a close game. The Big Ten usually has great defenses, and they always have low-scoring games as well. Yards of passing. Michigan with 191.3 yards of passing. They're struggling with the passing. Penn State wins again with this one, 291.2 yards of passing. I forgot to do the total yards, and of course Penn State wins on this one again, with 456.2 yards of total yards, while Michigan has 376.3. Yards of rushing. Michigan will do well, surprisingly, with this one. Yards of rushing with 185.0 for Michigan, while Penn State has 165.0. That's going to be a key. Yards allowed. Michigan wins on defensive side. That's what I was going to say. It's going to be a good game with defense and a little bit of offense from both sides. It's mainly going to be a defensive game like Michigan State game and in Michigan, Indiana. That one was crazy too because Michigan won in overtime. For yards allowed, Michigan has a 223.8, while Penn State struggles with a 285.2. But that's also good though because it's below 300 yards. Passing yards allowed, Michigan wins again with this one with the 138.0, while Penn State has 167.8. Rushing yards allowed, this is huge for Michigan because they could possibly stop Saquon Barkley and Tracy McSorley or any other running back with 85.8 rushing yards allowed, while Penn State has 117.3. Now, defensively, Michigan wins on defense while Penn State wins on offense, so it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think, though, that Penn State may possibly come out with this win 28-17. That's going to be my final score for the actual game. Bias, I think Michigan could upset Penn State if it's a field goal or an interception, possibly. I don't know who's going to win this game, honestly, but I think that Penn State will most likely take this game 28-17. That's going to be my final score. I know I may seem biased towards Michigan. I do like both teams. I don't have any hatred except for Ohio State. I cannot stand Ohio State. The last 5 games, Michigan won against Indiana barely in overtime, 27-20. A loss to Michigan State, who could have probably won 14-10. They beat Purdue 28-10, and they beat Air Force 29-13, and of course Cincinnati 36-14. While Penn State destroyed Northwestern 30-31-7. They destroyed Indiana 45-14. They barely beat Iowa 29-19. They killed Georgia State 56-0, and they beat Pitt 33-14. So guys, I hope you liked this video. This was a long video, so enjoy, and comment below what you guys think who's going to win this game. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a tense one. It's going to be a close game of defensive battles between both sides. So it's going to be another low-scoring game, like similar to the Michigan and Michigan State game. So guys, 42 Sports here. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all have a great day, and peace. Woo! That was a lot.
Big goal line defense digging in here. And they'll get him in the back. They'll go with a run once again.